What happens when two beloved television personalities clash on live television and the cameras keep rolling? The tension was palpable. The exchanges were heated. And viewers across America sat frozen, watching in stunned silence as a morning show interview transformed into one of the most unexpected confrontations ever broadcast. Kelly Clarkson, America's sweetheart, known for her warmth, humor, and authenticity, found herself in a verbal standoff with journalist Craig Melvin. What began as a friendly morning segment quickly spiraled into a raw, uncomfortable exploration of fame, privacy, and the price of being human in front of millions. Before we break down what really went down in that studio, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below, because this is one interview you won't believe actually happened. The morning started like any other. Coffee brewed in the green room, cameras hummed to life, and producers shuffled through notes. Calm but focused. Craig Melvin, filling in as guest host, was his usual composed self, a sharp, charming, the kind of professional who knows how to make even tough questions sound polite. Kelly was scheduled to appear as the headline guest. She was there to talk about her latest album, her talk show, and her life as a single mom. The atmosphere was relaxed. Kelly scrolled through her phone, smiling at something funny. Craig joked with the production team, flipping through his note cards, radiating confidence. Nobody could have predicted what was about to happen once the red light blinked on. The show opened smoothly. Craig welcomed Kelly with that familiar broadcaster smile, and she walked out to cheers, waving to the crowd, her trademark energy lighting up the set. The music faded, applause settled, and she sank into the plush chair across from him, still smiling. The first few minutes were light and easy. "How do you juggle it all?" Craig asked. Kelly laughed, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Lots of coffee," she said, drawing laughter from the audience. They chatted about her kids, her latest tour, and the unpredictable chaos of live TV. Everything felt natural, warm, exactly the kind of segment producers dream of. But then Craig leaned forward. His posture changed. The smile softened. The journalist in him took over. He said he wanted to talk about something she'd mentioned in a previous interview, her comments about the pressures of fame and the toll it takes on mental health. It was a fair topic, but the tone of his question carried a subtle edge. He asked whether Kelly felt she was being inconsistent, enjoying the perks of fame while criticizing the scrutiny that came with it. He phrased it politely, but the implication was clear. Was she being hypocritical? Kelly's expression shifted ever so slightly. Her smile stayed, but her eyes tightened, alert, cautious. She took a breath before answering. "I think it's possible to love what you do and still struggle with parts of it," she said. "Fame doesn't mean you stop being a person. You still have boundaries. You still deserve respect." Her voice was calm, but the firmness underneath it was unmistakable. Craig nodded, but pressed further. "But when you share parts of your life on social media, your kids, your relationships, your home, doesn't that invite public curiosity? Don't you think that comes with the territory?" The audience quieted. The mood shifted from cheerful to uneasy. Kelly sat up straighter. "Sharing isn't the same as surrendering," she replied. "Just because I choose to share certain moments doesn't mean I owe the world every detail. It's not a contract. It's human." Her words landed heavy. You could feel the tension thickening. The laughter from earlier was gone. Craig, trying to maintain control, countered, "But can celebrities have it both ways? You've built a brand on openness. Isn't it fair for people to expect transparency?" Kelly looked him straight in the eye. "Transparency doesn't mean total access," she said. "It means honesty. And I've always been honest. But there's a difference between being real and being exposed." Her tone wasn't angry, it was precise, surgical. Craig pushed again, bringing up specific examples, her posts about her kids, her divorce, her life updates. "When you talk publicly about these things," he said, "aren't you inviting commentary?" Kelly paused, her face softening but her voice unwavering. "Commentary is one thing," she said. "Entitlement is another. And people forget that difference all the time." The air in the studio grew still. Even the camera operators seemed frozen. Kelly leaned forward. "You know, Craig, This isn't just about me. This is about how we treat people in the public eye, especially women. There's this double standard. When men set boundaries, they're private. When women do, they're difficult. Her words hit hard. Craig blinked, caught slightly off guard. I'm not saying journalists shouldn't ask questions, Kelly continued, but framing matters. The way you ask something tells me what you already believe about me. Craig nodded slowly. I didn't mean to make it personal. But it is personal, Kelly said. How could it not be? I'm sitting here being asked why I don't share enough, why I share too much, why I'm emotional, why I'm guarded. There's no winning. And that's exactly the problem. Her voice trembled slightly, not from fear, but from conviction. She continued, I've spent years walking this line, trying to be open, trying to protect myself. And every time I think I've found the balance, someone comes along and tells me I'm doing it wrong, that I'm either too real or not real enough. So tell me, Craig, what's the right amount? What's the version of me that makes everyone comfortable? The question hung in the air like static. Craig hesitated. His training told him to steer the conversation back to safer ground. I think this is part of a bigger conversation, he said, about celebrity culture and the responsibility that comes with influence. Kelly shook her head. No, she said quietly, this isn't abstract. This is real. You asked me about my life, my choices, my kids, and now that I'm pushing back, suddenly it's a broader discussion. That's what people do when things get uncomfortable, they retreat into generalities. The audience murmured softly, sensing that they were witnessing something raw. Craig's jaw tightened. I'm not attacking you, Kelly. You seem defensive. Kelly let out a short, humorless laugh. And there it is, she said. The word that always gets used when a woman stands her ground. Defensive, emotional, difficult. She leaned back slightly, eyes never leaving his. I'm not defensive. I'm just done pretending this line of questioning is neutral, because it's not. For a moment, Craig didn't respond. He adjusted his notes, glanced at the audience, then back at Kelly. I think people just want authenticity, he said. Kelly nodded slowly. And I think people confuse authenticity with access, she said. They think being open means having no boundaries. But authenticity isn't about oversharing. It's about being true, and part of being true is knowing when to say, this is mine. This part of me isn't for public consumption. There was silence. Even the studio lights seemed to hum louder. Craig tried again. But don't you think part of what makes you relatable is that openness? Of course, Kelly said. But that doesn't mean I owe people my pain. I share what I choose to share the same way you do. Nobody asks journalists why they don't live stream their marriages or their parenting struggles. Why is it different for us? Craig looked slightly unsettled now, searching for footing. Because you're public figures, he said. You sell not just art, but identity. People connect with who you are. Kelly smiled faintly, but there was no humor in it. That's the illusion, she said. People think they know us, but they only know what we show them. And that's okay. That's how it's supposed to be. The problem comes when people start believing they're entitled to the rest. Craig exhaled. So you're saying fame shouldn't come with accountability? Kelly frowned. Accountability for what? For being human? For setting boundaries? Fame isn't a free pass to treat people like public property. It's a job, a privilege. Sure, but not a forfeiture of basic rights. The studio was dead silent. Even the crew in the control room were whispering, unsure whether to cut to commercial or let it continue. Someone mouthed, keep rolling. Kelly continued, her voice steady but charged with emotion. You know what's exhausting? Having to defend your right to evolve, to grow, to change your mind, to learn. Because every time I do, someone calls me inconsistent. But men get to do that all the time. They reinvent themselves and it's celebrated. When women do it, it's hypocrisy. Craig opened his mouth, but Kelly wasn't finished. You said earlier that celebrities can't have it both ways, she said. But that's exactly what society demands from women, to be open but not too open, strong but not intimidating, honest but not emotional. Tell me, Craig, where's the version of that actually works? Her voice was soft now, but the power in it filled the room. Craig took a breath. I understand you're frustrated, Buter. Kelly cut in gently. No, I'm not frustrated, I'm tired. There's a difference. The words landed like a thud. I'm tired of every conversation about boundaries turning into an interrogation, she said. I'm tired of people pretending that empathy and accountability are mutually exclusive. I'm tired of having to justify my humanity because I happen to be on TV. Craig tried to regain control. I think we're veering into personal territory, he said. Kelly laughed softly. Craig, it is personal. It always is. You can't talk about fame and privacy without talking about the people living it. You can't separate the topic from the experience. The producers were visibly tense now, some signaling to wrap up. But the cameras stayed rolling. Kelly took a breath, looking directly into the camera lens. And I know there are people watching right now who get it, she said. Maybe not on this scale, but in their own way. People who've been told they're too much, or not enough, or that they don't get to have feelings about how they're treated. This isn't just about fame. It's about being human in a world that constantly demands performance. The audience erupted in quiet applause, hesitant at first, then building. Craig sat back, absorbing what had just happened. He wasn't angry. He looked a broken bar, thoughtful, caught between professional instinct and genuine reflection. I think that's a fair point, he said after a long pause. I didn't mean to make you feel attacked. Kelly nodded. I know you didn't, she said softly. But intention doesn't erase impact. And sometimes we need to sit in that discomfort instead of trying to tidy it up. There was another silence, not awkward this time, but respectful. Finally, Craig said, so, tell me about the new album. Kelly smiled, a real one this time. It's about letting go, she said. About figuring out who you are when everyone else thinks they already know. The audience clapped again, louder now. The tension had broken, but something important had shifted. When the cameras finally cut to commercial, Kelly leaned back, exhaling slowly. Craig looked at her, a hint of admiration in his eyes. That got real fast, he said. Kelly smiled. Real's all I've got. And that was the moment, the one clip that would go viral within hours, flooding timelines and sparking endless debates about fame, privacy, and the impossible expectations placed on public figures, especially women. Some viewers sided with Craig, saying he was just doing his job, asking tough questions. Others hailed Kelly for standing her ground, for articulating something so many people, famous or not, have felt but couldn't quite put into words. But beyond the headlines, beyond the sound bites and hashtags, one thing was undeniable. What happened that morning wasn't just a confrontation. It was a reckoning, a moment of truth that stripped away the performance and revealed something raw, honest, and human. Kelly Clarkson didn't walk off that set angry. She walked off unfiltered, unapologetic, and free, reminding everyone watching that authenticity doesn't mean exposure, and boundaries don't mean weakness. Sometimes, the bravest thing a person can do, as celebrity or not, is look into the camera, into the noise, and say, this is me. And that's enough.